Hi guys, it's Justine, but you can call me Blondie. Welcome back to Vlogmas. For today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make gingerbread cookies. These are some of my favorite cookies to make. The recipe is actually really simple. I've been making this recipe for years now, and it's actually my husband's favorite cookies that I make. So I'm going to show you how to make them. Starting off, here is my recipe card, and I'm actually going to be doing halving the recipe today, so check out the description below if you want to see the full recipe, but I'm going to be cutting it in half today because it makes too many cookies for our little family. But you're going to need salt, flour, powdered sugar, vanilla extract, baking soda, butter and egg, brown sugar, cinnamon, molasses, cloves, ginger, and nutmeg. That is everything you're going to need. Excuse this little mess, but I'm going to show you how to make them. So starting off, I'm adding 1 3/4 cup of flour to my KitchenAid mixer. And then I'm adding 1/4 cup of brown sugar, but I'm going to pause it real quick because this is actually where I messed up. The brown sugar should have been mixed in with the wet ingredients. Fortunately, my cookies still came out perfectly fine, but I just wanted to note that because that's not technically how you're supposed to mix the brown sugar in. Next, I'm adding 3/8 a teaspoon of baking soda, and then 1/2 of a tablespoon of cinnamon. Next is 3/8 a teaspoon of cloves, 1/4 a teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/2 a tablespoon of ginger. And last of the dry ingredients is 1/4 a teaspoon of salt. And then onto the wet ingredients, I'm starting off with 1 egg, followed by 7/8 of a teaspoon of vanilla, and 1/4 a cup of molasses. Then I melted 3/8 of a cup of butter. As you can see, there's part of it that's not melted, but it's still super soft. This is basically how you want the butter to look before you mix it in. And then I'm gonna go ahead and mix all of the dry ingredients together and all of the wet ingredients together. Again, normally the brown sugar would be mixed in with the wet ingredients. And after I started mixing with a rubber spatula, I realized it wasn't gonna do it, so I grabbed a whisk. And then this is where I sort of messed up again. Usually you're supposed to add your dry ingredients to your wet ingredients, and I added my wet to my dry. Once again though, the cookies came out perfectly fine, but because your dry ingredients are lighter in density, they mix better when you add them to your wet ingredients. But again, I flip-flopped them. The cookies still came out perfectly fine though. And then I just turned on the mixer and I put it on a super high speed. For this recipe, I don't think it really matters what speed you put it on though, because the cookie dough is going to be really dense regardless. And then you preheat your oven to 350 degrees, and while it's preheating, you can roll out your cookie dough. This cookie dough is actually some of the easiest to work with. It's not super sticky, but it's not super dry either. So the dough itself is really easy to roll, and the cookies are really easy to cut. Using a dark non-stick cookie sheet, but if you are using a light cookie sheet, make sure you spray it with a cooking oil first. And then once you have all of your cookies on the sheet, you can pop them in the oven for 10 minutes. Next is the frosting, so I'm starting off with 1 cup of powdered sugar and 1/16 of a teaspoon of vanilla, so just a tiny bit of vanilla. And then I'm adding 1 tablespoon of milk. And then you just slowly mix all of those ingredients together until it looks like this. It's a very like sticky consistency. It's almost like the consistency of glue. And then I'm going to put it in a Ziploc baggie so that way I can use it to pipe the frosting onto the cookies to decorate. The cookies will look like this when they're done, and then I'm just cutting a little hole at one of the corners of the bag, and then I'm going to decorate the cookies. I realized that I placed the camera in the wrong position while decorating because you can't see what I'm doing since I'm right-handed. I just go ahead and have fun with it, and every cookie ends up looking a little different. They're not perfect, but they're still fun. And that's all there is to it. Here's me posing for a thumbnail. These cookies are, like I said, my husband's favorite cookies. My kids also love them, and they're great cookies for leaving out for Santa. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you make this recipe, send me pictures on either Instagram or Twitter, and I will see you in tomorrow's Vlogmas video. Bye guys.